To use, not that this would matter with DC, it'll matter more when we do AC.
Sorry, camera's on this side. Hey.
Anyway, you need multi-strand wire because I guess the Romex breaks or can break when there's... He's really annoying me right now. In case anyone was wondering. Totally lost my train of thought. Okay, so after our bus being gone for a week at the shop and getting no work done and paying $500 for diagnostics, we went and got the bus and said we were going to take it and bring it back when they actually were ready to do work. So we need to get tie rods replaced. Tie rods. Yes. So that's what's going on. Tie rods. That's not, as far as the stop engine, warn engine light, apparently that's some kind of safety mechanism that happens when your bus idles for too long. It just shuts it down just because it thinks you've been going for too long, I guess. But
so you don't overheat.
So you don't overheat.
If you do not have a high idle setting on your bus, which we do not.
Maybe you heard all that? It turns off your bus in case you don't have a high idle setting. I don't know. Short version is it doesn't matter. It was a safety feature. Nothing's wrong with the bus as far as the engine. Yay. Yay. Super yay. We do need to replace our radiator coolant fluid container reservoir thingy and flush the system and all that, just because someone put, probably the previous owner, not the military, but the guy we bought it from, who had it momentarily, put like a... Can you... Peanut gallery over here. Quiet. I got this. Shh. Do you want to talk? Stop leak. Basically fix a flat for a radiator reservoir, but called stop leak or something like that, but it gummed the whole system up. It was not a good idea. So we need to flush the system and get a new reservoir, but it's very expensive. We're going to do it, but right now money is tight, so we are going to pause on that. We just have to keep a really close eye on the coolant level, because you can normally look in this little like opening that shows you how full it is, but that's just like gummed up too, so it looks like it's full when it's not. So fix in the meantime is just to keep an eye on the system. So super glad it was nothing insane. Super glad we learned how to replace a fuel filter because shop prices are insanely expensive. So anyway, got the bus back and we are going to get started on some of our DC wiring. We have our floodlights we need to do. We have our max air fans we need to do, and a couple things we don't have yet but need to wire for are our toilet fan, our water pump, and I think our backup camera is DC too. Yes, it is. And we have that, but we don't have it installed. But that's the process we're going to start today. We're just super excited to have the bus back. It's embarrassing a little bit how much we missed working on the bus and having it here, but it was a forced break, which was probably necessary, so it is what it is. But back at it. Is outside trying to get the floodlight that is going to be tied in with the brake light or reverse lights. I can never remember details. The one that we want to light up when we go in reverse, so would probably be connected to the reverse lights, not the brake light. He's working on finding where those wires are to tie it in to the original system. This is the wiring we got, if anyone cares. We just got 100 yards, 100 feet of black and white marine grade, I think 14 gauge wire. And that's what we're going to be using to wire all of the DC things in the bus. So that's what I'm going to get started with. And yeah, the crib mattress slash couch. No! After taking 20 minutes to find a decent shot, knock this down. Guys, I'm a mess. Always. You run it back and see what it is? Okay.
There's only one blue wire?
There are two.
Okay, one of them should be BL84.
16 BL84 and 16 BL84B or 8 or something. So 16 BL84.
16 BL84, right?
Yep.
Is there only one of those?
Well, Did you hear what I said?
No, I couldn't hear you.
Okay, so there's 16BL84 and there's 16BL84B. I don't know if I'm even in the shot or what's happening.
Your butt was.
Yeah. Well, that's BL84B, so the other one's BL84. Hold it. Where are we tying it in? Right here?
Yep.
Okay, here it is.
Okay.
I need to undo this a bit and then put it back.
Yeah. I got the butt splices. Do you have some tape?
I don't.
Okay. Do you have a marker?
I don't.
Do you have anything that is useful for me up there?
I don't. So the brown.
You don't have that wire cutter?
I don't.
Oh my god.
I have this. I have the
You
heat
really don't
shrink.
have anything.
I have heat shrink. I had all the things I needed to do my job, and then you came in and wanted me to do your job.
That's a wire cutter.
I have the. Yeah, this thing sucks though.
No,
It's for stripping.
no, it's the
I
wire
have
cutter
this.
right here.
Quiet. I know it is, but it sucks. I have this and the heat shrink and the layer and the wire, which is what I needed to do my job because I didn't need to cut the wire until I was all the way up front.
Alright,
So anyway, the brown is the positive and the
And this
blue is
side.
the ground.
in this one.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm just letting you know that blue is going to actually tie into the brown.
Gonna tie into the brown. Our butts are both in the shot. Are you sure the brown's positive?
I mean, there's literally a sticker on it that has a plus
No, but
sign.
see, what's this one say? I just wanted to verify to make sure that all of them were.
Yeah, I mean, I'm as sure as
So
the
our brown's going to be the positive, which
manufacturer-
is going to go into the blue.
Yep, and then the blue is going to go into one of the whites. Yeah.
No more reverse lights.
Right, just like that.
Just like that.
How can I assist you?
Get ready to.
Do we have other butt splices?
I have a pocket full of butt splices.
Did you guys know those are called butt splices? Because I found that super funny, because I'm 5. Alright, so we didn't really consider running the wire when we framed and set up this Max Air fan, so now I have to create a path for it. So we have the holes in the metal ribs, which is super awesome and convenient. So we have the holes in the metal ribs that we can run stuff through, but I need to create a hole in this wood. So all of our wiring is going to be on the driver's side of the bus because our electrical closet is going to be directly behind the driver's seat. So we need to run everything going that direction. So I'm going to run these wires going this way and down and straight through here. So, yeah, that's the plan. And because I don't want to put them in any like super tight space, I guess I could technically run them up through here and then down, and that'd be more of a straight shot. But yeah, anyway, we'll see. Okay, I'm coming. So I want to be as detailed as possible about electrical, and here's why. One, the disclaimer is I'm obviously not an electrician, not at all whatsoever. I'm not good at math. I'm not good at science. I'm not good at I'm just not good at stuff apparently. But it has felt so overwhelming and intense to try and walk through electrical stuff. So I'm going to explain. Oh my God, I just pinched my finger with the wire cutters. Oh my God.
Why would you do that?
It's not intentional, obviously. I'm playing with them as I'm talking. The most important thing, don't play with sharp tools that are meant to cut wires while you're distracted and talking. Anyway, DC wiring, right? So I'm sure I'm going to say 1,000 things that are technically wrong, but I'm talking to people who have no idea what's going on, not electricians. So please don't go in the comments and say mean stuff unless I'm saying things that will kill people. It's all so overwhelming and scary, but it's really not. Just keep your head down, keep researching, and keep looking for people who talk about it on YouTube or in their blogs or whatever until you find someone who speaks in a way that makes sense for you, because I've lost track of how many people I have followed and asked for help and whatever, but I have been just like head down in electrical stuff for months now, and you'll have these few aha moments and you'll get it. You'll totally get it. And I'm saying all this before we've wired everything. I might blow up our bus. Something horrible might happen, but I feel like I've got to hang on it, and that's what matters. But I wanted to say, like, literally what we're doing to connect these DC wires, for example, is, again, we have the 100 feet of the black, which we're using as the positive, 100 feet of the white. We got marine grade because it's supposed to hold up better in mobile functions, obviously, or mobile setups. But you literally are going to get something like this that tells you the gauges of the wire, right, that you're using to cut and strip the wire. And then you're clamping down the things that they're called butt splices. It's funny that you're using to connect the wires together. And then you're running the wire to the fuse box. And then your fuse needs to line up with the amperage that you have for whatever it is. Like, I think these Max Air fans are literally like 5 amps, which is crazy because that's super low. That might not be accurate, but that's what I recall from memory. So probably wrong. But point is, fuse to match. And I have to double check that because I think you make the fuse match identical to what the amperage needs to be, not up, because you want it to trip if it goes past something. Don't take what I just said there as important or accurate because that is changes in the background laughing at me.
Or a fact.
Point is, you can do it. Don't listen to me.
So we have a rear light here that we're connecting to our backup lights. It's strange because the wiring from the lights are blue and brown, which has our brown is positive and blue is neutral or ground. And the bus lights, the blue is positive and the white is ground. So it's a little confusing.
So our first try, got it mixed up.
Yep, I got it mixed up. I did blue and blue. Blue and blue because obviously that logically makes sense. But in, I guess, electrical world, nothing can totally make sense.
It's just what wire color people
pick
to set it up. Yeah.
Ultimately. So I'm redoing it. So now I have my positive here, and then I'm going to be connecting my grounds. And hopefully we'll start the bus, put it in reverse, and we'll have a big bright backup light.
Yeah.
All right. So right back here is their wires from our backup light that we mounted itself. Back here, I traced the wires from my reverse light up through my wall and all the way along. And it was this blue guy, BL84.
You know, you said that we mounted it, so.
But basically, this is my wire that I have to use. So I'm going to take our light that we mounted and just splice it into the existing bus wiring for the reverse lights. All right, so here's attempt number 2. Hopefully when she starts up the bus and puts it in reverse, that light up at the top will turn on. It works! Sweet! That's what we wanted.
We want to show how wildly simple wiring stuff is. We're going to show you start to finish. I mean, not like it's a big process, but we're going to show you splicing wires together. All right. So here's all we need to do to connect like our Max Air fan, for example. So we have these guys, which are butt splices, and everything's sized for the gauge of wire that you're using. So we are using 14 gauge wire. So this is these are 14 gauge butt splices. And we don't have the right heat shrink right now, so this is technically one size up, but there's heat shrink that's even the right size because when it melts, it'll melt to the size you want it to. So that's a little bigger, but it'll be fine. So then you're gonna get these bad boys. And this down here is for cutting the wire, and you're just gonna look on the sides for what gauge of wire you're using. So like, again, 14, so we're gonna go to that, and that's what you put it on. I already started cutting this one, but you're gonna just take it to the 14, and you want enough wire stripped to fit it in this little nubby space, right? See that metal in there? You want it in there, and then you're gonna crimp it down. We'll get to that, but so you're gonna wanna, like, I don't know, what's this, 1/4 inch? 1/2 inch? I don't know. But you want enough to get in there. So you'll go to the marking, say 14, right? And you're gonna crimp it. This, I struggle with this part more than anything, to be honest, because you're not really supposed to like bend up your wire, right? So I try and find something hard to like set the wire on and then pull, which, you know, there's better ways to do it probably, and that's probably, you know, you just want to not damage the wire and get it all wonky. Wonky is a technical electrical term. I'm an electrician.
Not.
Don't wonkify your wires. Not an electrician. Then you're gonna twist it. So it's nice and like all the pieces are together and happy, right? Happy family. Then you're gonna stick it in here. And you don't want, like, some of these wires might come out and they're on the side. That's a problem. You need all of them in there. You need all those wires in that little metal space, right? And see how I don't have any wire hanging out? I've seen people do it where they have little pieces of wire hanging out and then the heat shrink handles it. I don't like that. That makes me uncomfortable. So I make sure all the wire's in there. And then up top is like your crimping space. I like the way I describe things. So there's a range, right? So I'm going to use this blue section that's 16 to 14 because I have 14 gauge wire. I'm going to go to the edge and I'm going to push down as hard as I can.
Or squeeze. Squeeze.
What'd I say? Push down, squeeze, whatever. And then pull. Make sure that sucker's not coming off. If it's not coming off, you're good to go. So then this is the extra wire I have. This is the 14 gauge wire I purchased, right? I'm connecting this to the wire that's on the max fan, which is technically 16 gauge. We wanted thicker wire because we just did for other purposes, other things we have. The further your wire has to go and the stronger the current, the bigger the wire has to be. DC is traditionally low voltage, to my understanding. So anyway, that's why a lot of DC, both, all, volts, what is it? Volts times amp equals watts, no matter how you swing it. Yeah. So it doesn't matter. It's all the same. True. But anyway, so, yeah, so DC wiring, that's why DC wiring is usually thinner. And it's confusing the way the wiring goes because the bigger the number, the smaller it gets until then you get to like, and then it starts over once you get to like 2, is there 1 gauge? 2, 1, 0 gauge? And then it turns into like 2-aught, 3-aught, 4-aught. Anyway, just Google for a wire sizing chart and you'll figure it out. But that's what we're going to do for the first end. And then we're going to get the max air fan positive because positive is black for us in this, and the DC wiring for us, and the white is the neutral. And then we're going to do the exact same thing with the max air fan wiring. We're going to put it in there. We're going to crimp it down, and then we're going to cover it with heat shrink. So make sure before you crimp the other wire down, because you won't be able to get it on, get your heat shrink on. Once we clamp that wire in, we're going to put the heat shrink over this splice butt thing. And then we will literally, I mean, there's like heat guns, there's things, we literally use a big lighter and just, and it'll shrink up. So you only want to put the flame on the heat shrink, not on the wire itself, because you'll melt the wire and that's problematic, obviously. But yeah, I mean, it's really that simple for that part. And then, like I said, the end of the wire will go to our fuse box. So, and we'll have a video explaining that, but I just want to step-by-step explain the stuff. For a lot of you, if you've done any research, that's probably like, yeah, Andrea, we know what we're doing, especially if you've like even just downsized the wires in your bus. So I'm not trying to like explain things that everybody knows, but at the same time, I have felt so overwhelmed by electrical that I really, really, really want to like dumb it down because I feel like I'm the person that needed the dumbing down, and still do. So anyway, it's you got this. You can do this. DC wiring especially. I'm like not terrified at all of DC wiring at this point. Still a little scared of AC, but we'll see how it goes. So anyway, it's that simple. And for now, we don't have our fuse box. We have a whole bunch of stuff coming from Amazon as far as like we're putting our AC breaker box and our DC fuse panel in the same thing. So we're waiting for certain things to arrive from Amazon to even get started on that. So right now we're just running wire for DC. So that's really as complicated as it gets for this. So we'll show you what it looks like when we're done, but that's it. Good?
Yep. Perfect. Perfect.
We're gonna run it through here. You already got that. Careful when you put it through. It does kink up the wires a little bit, but then you fix them on the end and it's not a big deal.
Did you already put the plastic things on?
I did, yeah. I shouldn't have. That would have helped, wouldn't it? So we're going to connect this, same thing with the wires going into that metal section. All right, it helps if you have another person with hands, in case you're working with someone who doesn't have hands.
That's offensive to people that maybe have.
I'm not trying to be offensive.
That's the world.
Everything's not trying to be offensive to people who do not have hands. I'm just saying maybe they're not the best people to work on a bus with. That's also offensive, isn't it? They're probably amazing, and they.
Oh my God! And we have 0 subscribers now because
I'm not.
No matter what you say,
people without hands are better at life than me. Obviously, speakingness. That's a word. All right, 1614. We should just stop talking. We're offensive no matter what we say.
Yep.
Gonna clamp it down, especially nowadays.
And the people that know us love us.
Yeah. Anyway.
Because it's just who we are.
And if you're offended easily, you shouldn't be friends with us. It's just a fact. Not because we're mean, but just because we don't think before we speak. We try to. We love everybody, let it be known. But we also just are dumb, I guess. I don't know. Anyway. Okay, is this on? Can you see? Can you see it? Got the crimpy crampers?
I got the crimpy cramper.
Crimpy cramp it up.
Come here, crimpy cramper. Squeeze the crimpy cramper.
Good job, well done. Test it.
Test, 1, 2.
There you go.
Is this thing on?
Hello.
The magic of heat.
Literally.
And shrink.
Oh, it's cold and shrink, isn't it?
Unless you're...
No, YouTube, this video is not made for kids. I'm just going to hold the lighter and you move it along. Because I just do too much.
Now, basically, just going to put some electrical tape these together every 6 to 8 inches. Okay, so we're working on wiring again, and we're getting our floodlights hooked up. So what we're going to do is we have some in either corner of the front and either corner of the back. We're going to connect these 2 front ones together and then bring them down here to where our fuse. The reason we're doing that is because we're trying to save wire. We don't want to waste wire and run one whole section all the way down and another whole section all the way down. So that's why. But we're literally just connecting them together and then bringing them to the fuse box. So we got our DC wiring for our max fan in, just kind of running along the ceiling. On the edge, this is where all our wiring is going to be tucked in. We'll have the ceiling come down. And then we'll have a probably like a 1x4 piece of wood. It's going to kind of block everything. But so this is where all our wiring is going to be, and then it's going to come down into our electrical area. So we got just our rear max fan, just labeled them. Front max fan, and then our spotlights, our floodlights for the front side. So we're going to do the same thing, run the wiring along the side for the back floodlights. And then that'll be kind of it for our DC wiring, I believe. Yep. Hard part is we can't test to make sure we wired anything correctly because our electrical isn't fully set up yet. So correct. The true test will be when everything is hooked up and see how much stuff we have to redo. Yep. 0. Ding. Because we'll never have to redo anything because we're amazing. Perfect. Just like the bus is going to explode. Okay. So we are done with DC wiring as much as we can be until we get more things to wire up. And it's dark, obviously, and it's about to storm, and we're getting bit by these bugs called no-see-ant. Please stop. Ugh, this guy, he's pissing me off today. I'm talking about Shane, in case anybody's wondering. Anyway, that's it for now. If you guys have any questions about DC wiring, it's super simple. I hope we explained it well. We probably didn't. Would you? He's worse than the bugs. Anyway. Thank you for watching. Don't forget, we have shirts for sale. Please check them out. I'll leave a link in the bio of how to purchase a shirt and other ways to support our project. But yeah, as always, thank you for watching, guys. See you next time.
Okay.
Hot.
Quiet.
Sorry.
Quiet.
Sorry.
Talking to... No, I lost my lighting again. Whoa. Whoa.
Here, I'll hold it for you.
No!
Let me
No,
help
I
you.
don't
Let
want
me
you
hold
to.
it from above.
That's
and...
not where I want it. Above is not where I need it. I'm not Jesus. I don't need a spotlight. I don't know why Jesus needs a spotlight.
Because you turned water into wine.
It's good enough. But now you're blocking. You just...
I'm not blocking anything. I'm not in front of the screen. Now I'm blocking it.
There, it's good enough. I mean, I think this is all we needed to show. Do you have anything else to say, sir?
In case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
It's not funny anymore.
It's 100% funny all the effing time. Because we know that Jeremiah Carey...
Was a bullfrog.
I don't know, his name's Jim.
He was a good friend of mine.
Jeremiah. I don't know what I want to call him today.
How's it go? Jeremiah was a bullfrog.
Ribbit.
He was a good friend of mine.
Ribbit.
I couldn't understand a single word he said, but he drank some mighty wine, or drank a mighty fine wine or some shit. I don't know.
Ribbit.